In this, our very first ever video, Rob breaks a window.
And we get some bad news.
We get into Wimbledon Centre Court without a ticket to see the final.
And finally, we arrive in France to find out that Rob's forgotten to bring our money.
Actually, it was Peg that forgot the money.
Hi, I'm Peg.
And I'm Bob.
And today we've got 9 days to go before something rather momentous is happening.
9 days?
9 days.
What's happening in 9 days?
In 9 days' time, we will have completely packed up our house.
Wow.
We've both already packed up our jobs and we'll be living full-time in our motorhome.
Oh my word. How on earth have we managed that?
I've got no idea.
Can we afford it?
Not sure.
Oh God. I better win the lottery then.
Well, it was a case of waiting to win the lottery. That wasn't happening, but we both wanted to go off and pursue a passion for travel.
Yeah, that sounds a good idea. Where are we going to go?
Well, I think we're going to go around the UK first for a bit.
Okay.
And then after that, we're going to go across the Channel and go to France.
Oh, France. So anywhere else, do you think?
Down through Spain.
Spain.
Might visit a few people in Spain.
Okay.
Like your sister.
That'd be nice.
And then on to Portugal. And we could see my brother, meet up with him there.
Wow, that sounds incredible. So what, we'll do that for a few weeks, shall we? See how it goes?
About 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Okay. Then what shall we do?
Then we come back to the UK.
Ah, okay. What, do we go back to work then, or?
No.
No?
No, we come back for another month or so.
Hmm.
And then we're going to go off on a bigger trip.
Ah, right. Well, that sounds exciting. Oh, I can't wait. You'll have to tell me more about it when it comes.
Okay.
All right then.
Will do.
So this is the home that we're leaving in the beautiful village of Port Sunlight on the Wirral. And as you can see, the architecture is absolutely stunning. There's over 960 houses that are all Grade 2 listed. The surroundings, this area here is called the Dell, and the bridge there was featured on Peaky Blinders. This is the factory, and it was Lord Leverhulme that built all of this area for the factory workers, and that's the front to the factory, and you can just see the Gladstone Theatre there as well that they had for all the people in the village. He also made sure there were plenty of green spaces everywhere.
And this is where we went to take our beloved motorhome into the Heimer Centre in Stafford to get some much needed work on it. Originally the plan was just to leave it for one night to get a new window installed and the bathroom floor replaced because it leaks. And there's the window, we can't see through it, the passenger window. The double glazed panes are just full of mist. So we left it there for one night, so we hoped, to get the work done. This is me breaking the driver's side window because that also had mist in between the panes, and because we were able to see when we were driving, we had to break one of the panes so we could see it. So, good morning.
Hiya.
We're in Port Sunlight at Riverside Park this morning, and we've got some bad news. We should have been moving into our motorhome today full time. Unfortunately, the dealers contacted us to say that the cab window that needed to be replaced is a much bigger job than they anticipated. They're going to need the motorhome for another week, unbelievably, and a specialist is required to actually fix this window. So we've managed to negotiate an extra week with our landlord, and we're just keeping everything crossed that we'll be on the road this time next week. Bye for now.
Bye. So while the motorhome was getting fixed, we thought we'd go and take advantage and book an Airbnb down in Wimbledon because the tennis was on. We had a lovely little Airbnb with a bit of outside space, and it had everything there that met our needs. It had a little kitchenette as well. This pool that we've got with our Airbnb has been absolutely the icing on the cake for our trip down here to Wimbledon. We're loving it.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, this is a bonus, it really is.
We managed to get tickets for Court 1 for the day before, And then on the day itself, we asked one of the security guards on the centre court if we could go and watch the mixed doubles final, and he said we could go in. Then we, after watching the mixed doubles final, we went back to court 1, and they said, oh, why don't you go and sit on the front row? So we sat right behind the umpire and where the players sat, and where the camera crew was, and it was just an amazing position to actually watch the tennis. This was actually the semi-final of the men's. The roof was on at this stage.
I think it was just fantastic because there were less people there than they expected. It meant that there were seats available in other places, and they wanted the crowd to have the best experience, so we were really, really lucky.
So we just bounced between court 1 and centre court for the day, and it was just incredible just to see the tennis that we saw.
And we saw a Scouser win the mixed doubles.
I mean, yeah, it's just...
What's not to like?
What can I say?
So we got the call that the motorhome was ready, so off we went again to go and pick it up.
Okay, we're at the Heimer Centre. This is the first time we've been to see our new shower tree.
Wow.
Oh my word. Well, it is smooth, I'll give it that. Wow.
And now we're coming round to look at the window, and for the first time ever you can see straight through it. Absolutely amazing.
Which is quite beneficial to the driver who's not been able to see through it for the last 5 years.
Well, I like to look out of it as well.
Well, yeah, so Peg often tells me there's any traffic coming, and it's quite useful if she can actually see.
So moving day has arrived, and we're moving out of our beautiful house in Port Sunlight into Jürgen. We've called our motorhome Jürgen because he's German, and in Jürgen we trust, because both Rob and myself are avid Liverpool supporters as well.
So we're fully packed up and off we go to Harlech, our very first night living on our own in our motorhome.
So we stayed at a campsite that was basically just the car park of the leisure centre for £8 a night, but this was our view. We had a fantastic view of Harlech Castle, and just over the road there was a campsite for over £50 a night.
And this is the beach, just a few minutes walk from the car park, looking up at the castle, and we had this all to ourselves. It was fantastic.
And while we were there, we met up with some really good old friends of ours, Greg and Di. And there was a cafe at the leisure centre as well, where we managed to get an absolutely delicious Sunday dinner. And the two ladies that cooked it for us were lovely ladies too.
So Greg and Di were staying locally in Portmeirion in a lodge that they were hiring for the week, and they took us on a tour, and this has absolutely stunning views of the estuary.
Yeah, we went along to just see where they were. They invited us over for a meal, and we just spent a lovely afternoon and evening with our friends Greg and Di. So this was just the walk through, and basically you get the big reveal as you come through.
So at this time the tide was out, so we were, as you can see, it was all sand, and we were able to actually walk on the sand and have a look down there. But just a few hours later, the tide had come in, and it was completely surrounded by water. It really was, yeah, amazing.
It was a magical place, and it just was such a view, and it's a view that you could never get tired of because it was changing all of the time.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really nice lodge. I think it was 1 bedroom, from what I remember.
Yeah.
But I mean, it had everything there, all the facilities you could want.
And 2 toilets.
2 toilets for some reason, but there we go. Nice kitchen, and of course the main thing was the stunning view from the lodge. So yeah, Peg and Greg went down for a walk,
And you came too and filmed. And we went for a walk, and I got a bit scared as the tide started turning and the water was coming in. So we didn't go as far as I'd have liked really, but we did see a few crabs and just had a nice little paddle through the water and everything. It was just really good spending time with Greg and Di.
I mean, it might look like desert, but it wasn't quite so hot at this time either.
No, it was lovely though.
It was just perfect. That's looking back at the lodge, and finally there's the picture of the 4 of us together.
So when we got back that night, we met a lovely French couple that were staying at the same place as us, called Janou and Mark.
And they very kindly gave us a tour of their truck that had been converted into a motorhome, and it was really amazing. It was beautifully kitted out, very practical, plenty of storage. It could accommodate about 5 people. There was 2 double beds and also a bed in the cab if you needed it. What amazed me was how tidy it was compared to our motorhome. They kept it immaculate. There was a control panel there for everything that they need. There was plenty of storage, as I say. And then Mark very kindly took us on a tour of the outside, showed us where they fill up with fuel and the tanks. And what amazed me is that they can go for 3 weeks before they need to refill with water and empty water. We can go for about 3 days at a maximum. So yeah, huge tanks, but they can go all kinds of places in that vehicle. It was great talking to Mark, and they've now gone on to Ireland and other places, and in fact they're planning to go to, where was it, Peg?
Canada.
Canada, yeah.
They're going to ship this lorry over to Canada, and they're going to do some extensive travel of North America, Alaska, Canada, and I think go to the States and further down into Central and South America as well. Really lovely couple, and they've got a travel log that they go on as well.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking them out. I will post the name.
You can see it on the front of the van here as well, so if you have a look there.
The link is there on the front of the van. I'll just pop it up on the window as well.
Really interesting couple, and I'm sure they'd be pleased if anybody meets them to say hello to them as well. They're over in Ireland, and then I'm not sure where they're going after that, but they are planning on going back to France in between all their travels as well. Not quite full-timers, but almost.
And their van, their lorry, weighs 13 tonnes, which is a little bit heavier than our 3.5 tonne motorhome. So we're off on our travels again, and our next paid campsite was in Fleet, where I met up with my mum.
So we stayed at a place called Little Bramshot Farm. It was a small site. There was enough room for about 5 to 6 people, and it was a CL site. It had some facilities. There was a toilet. There was a place to empty the toilet, and there's me emptying the toilet as I go. There were a few other people in caravans, and it was a nice peaceful site.
We did have some noisy visitors though.
We were also treated to a magnificent sunset. So here we are, boarding the earlier ferry, getting on the DFDS, Dover to Dunkirk. We arrived a little bit early for the check-in, so they've let us go on the earlier one.
And we're in.
So we treated ourselves to the premium lounge, and we found it. We were greeted by the lady who told us as soon as she met us that we weren't allowed to do any filming on board. I think it cost £12 to go in.
£12 each, and we certainly got our money's worth.
Yeah.
So in the lounge, as you can see here, I had to be very careful I wasn't caught filming. These are just a selection of the things that they give you while you're in there. So there's free drinks, cold drinks, hot drinks, water, pastries, crisps, biscuits, you name it. There's all kinds of things there, and you get as much as you want. And finally, after months of planning, we finally land in France, and this is our route to our campsite in Dunkirk. It's about half an hour away.
So this is us getting off the ferry, And we're just about to hear me say to Rob repeatedly for the rest of the journey, drive on the right. Remember to drive on the right. So thanks for watching. We've had a lot of adventures. We've been travelling now for a week through France, and we've just arrived into Spain today. So we've got lots of things that we'd love to see. We've also had a little accident this week that we can share with you on our next instalment.
Yeah, so please subscribe and you'll see what comes next.
Great, thanks a lot for watching.
Thank you very much.
The other thing to say is we're completely new to this, so we'd really appreciate any feedback you've got of how we can do things better.
Yeah, apologies for the editing, we'll get better, honest.
But be kind, please. Bye.
See you soon, bye.
Bye.